Welcome to transmission number 39 with IOCOIN. How's it going, Joel?
Hey, how are you, Theo?
I'm great.
Thank you for inviting me. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm very happy to be on your show.
Great, yeah. Weather looks really nice there in Florida. Great. Okay, we also have Michael. How's it going, Michael?
Going well up here in Canada.
Great. And we've got Richard in Amsterdam. How's it going? You hear us, Richie?
Yeah, so I had two screens open. So yes, glad to be here, guys. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, great, no problem. Yeah, who has one screen open nowadays, right? So, okay. Well, we're going to talk about, your coin that you launched, IOCOIN. When was IOCOIN launched?
You want to take that, Rich, or I'll take it?
No, you take it, Joe.
Oh, okay, no problem.
You found it.
I guess so. Well, the coin was initially launched July of last year. Somewhere around July 22nd, I believe it was. I'm not too 100% sure, but somewhere around there. And the reason I'm not so sure is because there was a lot of work going on. But July 15th is the time when we started our thread. IOCOIN, it's been an amazing project from the beginning for me. Personally, I came into the crypto scene as kind of like someone that was just checking things out, on how altcoins were working and how things were being developed. I found a love for Blackcoin, also for Vericoin. Those were very strong developmental coins. And I really I have some type of love relationship with those projects. They're close to my heart because I believe that they were the ones that taught me about POS. I knew about POW, proof of work, what Bitcoin does, but Blackcoin and then Vericoin introduced me into this POS technology, which I thought was really it was a great technology in terms of my views. So that's how IOCOIN kind of got started. And then before it got started, I spoke to Chris Barillo, a good friend of mine. And Chris had a view, when he started looking at this coins and he was talking to me, he was telling me, Joel, is there any way to make, this transfers more easy? Can it be more user-friendly? Because I don't understand these long hex addresses. They're very long, and I just can't get it. I don't understand it. He kept on telling me. And I said, well, maybe there's something that can be done. And that's how the idea of IOCOIN came around, because we wanted to make a user-friendly cryptocurrency. And with that in mind, we thought about doing aliases, or, usernames.
So you can, okay, so that's great. So that basically covers, the motivation for making another altcoin, because as we know, there are a lot of altcoins out there, and it was to make a, user-friendly altcoin. You also mentioned POS, proof of stake, and your interest in Blackcoin and Vericoin and their work with proof of stake. Proof of stake. Okay, so you have an alias system for IOCOIN that functions right now, where I can send Joel some coins if I know your alias is Joel. Is that right?
Yeah, right now we have a semi system. We do require on servers right this second. That's how we started it, because it was a testing from us. We wanted to make sure that things, would work, and they certainly did. So yeah, right now Wiz-IO would be my aliases in the system, and you can send to Wiz-IO, and I'll receive the coins in the IOCOIN network right now.
Okay, and that's on the IOCOIN blockchain then.
Right. Basically, the server talks to the blockchain. What's happening is that after 6 months of work with the ions, which is semi-centralized, we started the process of looking at how we would make this whole process decentralized. where we didn't need the server, and that's how we came about of Dions, decentralized input-output namespace or name server or name spaces, and that's how we came about Dions, and we started developing our own aliases, so they will be fully decentralized without the need of a server, and that's where we're at right now. We're very close to launching Dions.
Okay, well, before we get into your blockchain decentralized apps, Dions, and all that, let's just go back and talk about altcoins, but more about proof of stake versus proof of work. So you mentioned proof of stake was one of the main things that interested you with Blackcoin and Vericoin, and in general looking around the crypto space. So yeah, why did you choose proof of stake and not proof of work? And does IOCOIN use its own version of proof of stake, and what is that?
Good questions. Well, first of all, I love the fact that in proof of stake coins, the transfer rate was brought down from 10 minutes, the confirmation time, sorry, and transfer were brought down from 10 minutes to seconds, so that was very interesting to me, and then a lot of people talk about the energy consumption because proof of stake coins, they have a wallet and that can be installed on any laptop and basically save a lot of energy. Proof of work requires servers, and if it's not servers, special CPUs to be able to stay in this mining game where you have to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade to try to even maybe get some fees or find a Bitcoin. So that's where I thought of a proof of stake. I come from Latin America, and a lot of our countries, Puerto Rico, Mexico, South America, they're coming up in this technology, in computer technology. So I thought about that too. A lot of people that may want to be part of this network may not have the funds, to get on a Bitcoin network if they don't have the money to probably try to mine a Bitcoin. But they could probably download one of our wallets, and be on our network. So that's another reason why I thought about proof of stake. I felt it was secure from what I looked at the time, and we have been, people that are working on proof of stake, we have been looking at how we're going to make it even more secure, because there is nothing, I don't care what anybody tells me, there is nothing 100%. I mean, the blockchain is 100% as you can get it, but there's 51% attack if all this networks, pretty much start mining. So there's always security things that we have to always be watching out for. So, but overall I felt POS was a very good option for IOCOIN.
Okay, great. Michael or Richard, if you have anything to say, you can just kind of interrupt us or just let us know. Well, regarding proof of stake and altcoins, you also mentioned the coin Vericoin. So what happened there, I believe, was, as we know, the infamous exchange MintPal was hacked, and a bunch of Vericoin was stolen. And then the person that stole the Vericoin had so many that their staking power was so powerful that they could have done, theoretically, an attack. And what happened was the Vericoin community decided to fork Vericoin, and and so that person wouldn't be able to do that, which could make sense. But you also have the issue of fungibility. So are all the coins created equal, and who has the power to say, well, those coins are no good because they were stolen? So let's just, it's a tough question. I guess the community would have to decide. But what do you think would happen? What if I don't know, I guess Bittrex or Poloniex, or I don't know what's a major volume exchange for IOCOIN off the top of my head, was hacked, unfortunately, and a bunch of people, and they had so many IOCOINs, they were threatening the network, what do you think would happen? I know that's a bad scenario, but
you know, this is something that we think about, obviously, but we haven't thought about it anymore because I believe, I may be on the minority, I believe that the Vericoin development team had no choice. I mean, it was just like up against the wall type of situation. You know, the coin is in a very early stage of adoption, so it's not like Bitcoin when there is thousands and thousands and thousands of wallets. And I believe that what happened to the team, you know, it was like you have to make a split decision at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're calling you from, you know, I don't even know. It was where Minpal servers are at, you know, somewhere in Europe, I guess it was. But anyways, they received a call or PM that this had happened. So you have to think pretty quickly on what you're going to do, or you could potentially affect the entire project. So one of the things, I'm not going to talk about maybe the decision that they made, because I am going to back what they did, but I am going to say this. Cryptocurrency, in my view, cryptocurrency coins, some of them are made for maybe not such good intentions. And then you have other projects that are made with real good intentions, with people that are trying to bring something into cryptocurrency, maybe an idea that they want to work on. At the end of the day, these are projects to me right now. We haven't had, you know, but Bitcoin maybe get that mass adoption, you know, that, and Bitcoin's still trying to get more mass adoption. So where Vericoin was at, or where IOCOIN is at, we are like babies. We're in the beginning stages. We're going to fall. God told me yes.
Wow, that's a nice signal. That's great.
Yeah, we are in the beginning stages. These are projects. We are going to fall on the ground like babies, and we are going to get up, you know, because now we're probably 1 or 2 years old, so we're going to get up and we're going to walk again. And I believe that, I can't talk for Vericoin, I can say from the outside that I believe that Doug, which is the developer, will do what's best for Vericoin. In my shoes, I'm going to do what's best for IOCOIN. Thank you, Jesus. So I am going to, you know, these are serious projects, so we are going to do the best, or whatever we need to do to secure, protect the holders and the chain.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was just, you know, probably the worst case is that, you know, somehow there's a hack, someone hacks an exchange, or somehow someone gets a bunch of coins and tries to attack, and then, you know, you guys have got to figure out what to do, or the community's got to figure out what to do. And that's probably the main criticism of proof of stake, is that, you know, someone could potentially buy control or buy a bunch of coins and try to attack. But that's all theoretical, just like a lot of these other attacks on blockchain. So speaking of blockchains, let's get into that, because I think that's probably, you know, one of the more interesting things you guys are doing. So we've already mentioned the alias system, and, you know, how you're working on that to make it purely decentral, little by little. And that is pretty cool, because, you know, these long addresses are pretty hard for your average member of the public to understand. So I also was taking a look at your roadmap and your ideas. You have a few other things coming. You voucher system, instant messages, a Twitter-like app. So which one of these are live, and why did you choose these applications to launch right now? So the voucher system, is that live right now?
I'm going to let Richie handle. Richie.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good day, guys. Yeah, the voucher system is actually live since, I think, November 2014. We just had an idea about giving IOCOIN in an easy way to others. So just not sending them through an exchange or through a wallet, but just sending to an address and then get a voucher ID out of the system. Then you go to your wallet, enter the voucher code, and then you receive the coins. So that's like an easy system to distribute the coins. So it was a small idea. And basically, that was a little bit of the beginning of all the future ideas. And around that time, the roadmap or the PDF with the information of Dion's was created somewhere at that time, maybe in October. So basically, that was data on the blockchain, which we discussed in the in the team, and basically all the ideas came from Joel, and we're just giving our ideas, our thoughts, our changes with all the team. So my role within the team is Joel explains me the ideas, I give them feedback because I have a lot of experience in corporate relations, in creating things that actually work for the big audience, not just create technical stuff. Because the basic flaws with a lot of coins is that if they introduce some new technology, it's hard to actually get people to use it. So I have a lot of experience in prototyping and in information design. So that's where I help the team for once. So you can see the circle of our roadmap. We got IO Digital as a main umbrella brand. Like we don't have a good name for that, but IO Digital is our main goal, main brand, where we have all those different stuff underneath it. We have the IOCOIN digital currency, which was all started with, of course. We introduced the HTML5 wallet rather soon, I think within 2 or 3 months after the IOCOIN launch. It's a one-of-a-kind HTML5 wallet built from the ground up by the team, so it's a one-of-a-kind. No other coin has that. We talked about the friendly alias system. It's actually ions right now. It's not decentralized yet, but when we launch the Dion's, then that's decentralized as well. Of course, we talked about the proof of stake model. The voucher system is already live, and it's integrated into the HTML5 and the Android wallet. Another thing worth mentioning is the Android wallet also got a merchant module in it, so merchants can actually receive IO coins, and it's going to calculate the dollar amount and then the IO coins you need to receive for that value. And on the top right. Yeah?
Can I interrupt you just for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is really cool. So I want to go back here. Here we have proof of stake, custom proof of stake protocol, POS.io, with market-based volume control mechanism. So what exactly is that with the market-based volume control mechanism, and how is that related to when I stake my coins?
Joe, can you fill that in? It's a bit technical.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's no problem. Well, basically, you're going to hear a lot of thunder in the background because we're getting some rain here in Miami. So I'm sorry. I'll do my best. So basically, with POS.io, we have a volume control system. Basically, transactions, when you transact, those transaction fees are being destroyed. At the same time, you're starting up the blockchain, you know, with another basically block, and that starts up the staking. So we got staking that creates and generates coins, and then when we do a transaction, we are basically destroying, you know, that transaction fee. When Dion's comes on board, what's going to happen is that when somebody pays for the aliases, you know, there's going to be a transaction fee. That transaction fee this time around will go to the stakers. But the transactions from one person to another person, they get destroyed. So that's how we control the volume.
Okay. Wow, I like the thunder there and lightning in the background. That's great. So, okay, great. So you're basically burning some of the fees during the staking, during this whole mechanism of when the coins get sent to other users.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. And then what happens is, you know, there's a lot of coins that are POS, and then they just generate currency, you know. So we wanted to control that to maintain the value, overall value of the IO coin.
Okay, great. Okay, good. I'll get the screen share back up of the roadmap, and we can go over a few of these applications that you guys are working on that are on your blockchain. It's pretty interesting. You're doing so. The aliases are active, but they're not totally decentral yet. So D-ions. The voucher system, I believe you spoke about.
Yep.
And now we wanted to talk about another interesting idea, decentralized instant messaging system. So tell us about that.
Yeah, what we wanted to do is to create a possibility for people that using the wallets to send each other messages through the blockchain. They're stored into the blockchain, so it's not a centralized server or something. People need to pay some low fees for those storage of the messages, and all those fees are coming back to all the current stakers. So people pay for a message, a small fee, and actually all the fees paid will be distributed on through all the current stakers.
Okay, so if I send a message, if Bob sends a message to Mary, and it costs, I don't know, 0.001 IOCOIN,
yeah,
then everybody gets a little part of that IOCOIN, or you collect a bunch of those fees, and everybody gets the benefit of that. And so this is interesting, but also I'm wondering, okay, you've got a decentralized instant messaging system based on a blockchain, which means the messages are public or private, or
That's
how
a
does
good
that
question.
work?
That's
Yeah.
a good question. People are going to have an option. There will be an encryption availability for users that want to just basically have an encryption to their messaging. If they don't choose to encrypt it, it will be pretty much live on the blockchain.
Okay, cool. Well, for some things, that's good. So that basically means if Alice tells Bob, I want to marry you, it's permanently in the blockchain and it's time-stamped that happened, and he can't take it back.
No, you can't.
Yep.
So you know, that also has potential, and if it's really easy to do, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but basically the Dions opens up a whole world of possibilities with data on the blockchain, because everything you can store has a date timestamp, and you can request that data out of our blockchain and then get consensus about the thing that comes out of the chain. So nobody can influence that. So that's a great thing.
Okay, great. So let me switch over again. Okay, we've also got similar to instant messaging, a decentralized Twitter-esque microblogging service. So how will the people be able to read these messages? Will they need an IOCOIN wallet, or will there be a centralized server that could mirror the messages somehow?
Yeah, that could
You
be
want
a
to answer that,
possibility.
Richie, or
Yeah.
I can answer it?
Maybe you can answer. We have some different ideas about that. The possibilities to store those messages into the chain are there. We're still looking at what's the best way to actually extract those messages out of the chain. Maybe Joe, you can fill it in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple of ideas. Basically, we could do a Twitter-like feed where people are going into. We have something called the IOCOIN Hub. It's kind of like our Facebook, and Richard has been the engineer behind this. He's done a wonderful job. So we can integrate it into the IOCOIN Hub where people can actually read. You can now go and sign up, iocoinhub.io. Is that correct, Richie?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so more than likely we'll probably integrate it. The hub is also going to be integrated into our wallet. So we're just going to use, this IOCOIN Hub, the wallet, to basically send those messages out for everybody to read. After that, there are some ideas that we're kicking around that we don't want to say it right now, but there.
You're
We're
breaking
working
up
on
a
it
little
now.
bit. Okay, great. Maybe the storm is getting you to break up a little bit. But okay, that sounds really interesting, a decentralized Twitter microblogging service. And, in my opinion, one interesting thing is that also that you need to maybe think about is that you can't really censor that theoretically. So I mean, anyone could use that for good or evil. It would be free speech in a real way, because you couldn't tell someone they're not allowed to say that, and you couldn't. It also might be interesting, kind of like the instant message on the blockchain, because you can't delete your tweet very easily then either if it's on the blockchain or something like that. So maybe people would tell the truth more. It's an interesting social experiment.
Yeah, it is. But we are looking at possibilities to probably delete your tweet, or how do you call it in our Twitter-esque microblogging service, because when you send it to the blockchain, its signature from you is also there. So maybe there's some changing possibilities. I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You have to think about it. I mean, these things that are permanent. It's what if what if you're a teenager and you tweet out something and then you're stuck with that forever?
Yeah.
You've got to,
we all know the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. Even if it's on the blockchain or it's on Facebook, it's still permanent because it's going to go to a centralized server. So the scary thing about obviously servers is that they can be compromised. So that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So there's also going to be a system that allows businesses to build their own decentralized applications. So that could be anything, I guess.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about that. That's Chameleon. We're introducing Chameleon, which is our super chain, as we call it. Chameleon is going to give us a broad range of possibilities. And one of the things that we thought about Chameleon is because obviously our main blockchain that has aliases and then messaging, people are going to, think, well, what's going to happen with how large is the blockchain going to get? So this is where Chameleon is coming in. Chameleon is going to allow us to pretty much do that haul of that data with some other side chains that we're going to be spinning up, along with the two-way peg that we have talked about that we're looking at from Gregory. Gregory's doing an amazing job for Bitcoin right now, and he's talked about side chains, he's talked about two-way pegging. So we're looking at that and on how we're going to integrate it into our system. And that way, that will allow Bitcoin holders to basically store their Bitcoin for some IOCOIN and be able to utilize our Dion's aliases to send Bitcoin to each other. So that's where Chameleon and the side chains are coming in to basically help us to carry that data so the main blockchain is not, bloated as some people may think it could be, and basically bring in the Bitcoin users so that they can utilize the aliases system in our blockchain. And obviously, we can spin up some color coins for businesses. We're already in talks with a business. I'm not going to get too much deep, into what they're doing, but we are going to provide them with some coins, colored coins that they're going to utilize internally for their business. And that chain is going to talk to our chain, and they're also going to utilize our Dion system, the aliases system. So it's going to be very interesting, all the possibilities that we're going to be able to spin up with Chameleon.
Okay, great. So anyone watching, you can also ask questions via Google+. So if you're watching on YouTube, when you opened the YouTube, there was a little thing you could click on the video. Click on that, and you'll come to the Google+ version of this video that you're watching right now, and you can ask questions. You still have some time to do so. I'm also on Twitter, @BitcoinPotato. You can also ask questions there. And if you're just watching this as a recording, just ask your questions in the comment section, and I'm sure I or the IOCOIN team will answer your questions later. All right, so that is pretty cool, actually, that you've, this Chameleon idea and, letting people use the blockchain for different applications, different uses. Color coins you mentioned, so basically, letting some small part of IOCOIN represent something in real life. What are some other possible uses that you guys are thinking about? And have you thought about smart contracts or other possible uses, I guess, that could be related to Chameleon or another project? Anyone?
Basically, Dion's or Dion's, how do you call it? But Dion's actually opens up a big world of opportunities for us and for businesses who want to use to store data on the blockchain and in a decentralized way. So Chameleon basically is an entrance point to our chain where all kinds of businesses can connect to. So when we released the roadmap, we also introduced the Chameleon project. It was a bit of a surprise to many people because Chameleon, we haven't talked about it in a year, but it's almost ready. We have, I think, 75–80% coded already. So that was a big surprise. And all these kinds of businesses, if they want to do smart contracts or store votes in the blockchain or maybe do some other stuff, they can connect through through Chameleon to our blockchain. So we have, of course, our projects like DOX, Decentralized IO Exchange, which will use the Chameleon. But there's so much more. Basically, the limits, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, I'm going to get into a couple of things. A lot of people may not know that I was, and I'm still, in the music industry. I started many, many years ago in 1993, 94. So it's already been 20 years. I'm currently, I'm a composer for Universal Music Publishing. So one of the things that that the blockchain is going to allow us to do, Chameleon, is store copyrights. So if you're in the music industry, copyrights right now, they have to be sent out to the USPT, pretty much Congress, sorry, so that you can get it stamped and basically told that that is your copyright, that is your song. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to be able to store copyrights on the blockchain. And that's one of the projects that I'm really, really interested about because I have a lot of peers, you know, that are waiting for something like this. And when I talk to them about the possibility of storing their copyrights in the blockchain, I mean, they're pretty amazed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I know a lot of people in the music industry. So this is going to stir up some very good conversations. And this is one of the things that Chameleon is going to allow us to do, copyrights, for example. So that's another thing that Chameleon will do. Then we have gateways. A lot of people have been looking at the Ripple project, and you know, one of the things that happened with alternate currency or currency is like the only way you can purchase IOCOIN or Vericoin is, well, you have to go to Bittrex, you got to get some Bitcoin, you know, and it's a little difficult to get your hands on it. So gateways not only allow us to, you know, make it more easier for people to maybe get their hands on IOCOIN, but also it allows us to provide a decentralized way for people to come in with USD and maybe go out with Euro. And this is something that we're currently working on. And it's going to be another thing that's going to be added to Chameleon, which are the gateways.
Okay, great. So, you know, the gateways, it sounds, like you said, similar to the Ripple concept of having these gateways. Shortly...
There is a difference.
Okay, well, tell me quickly the small difference.
Yeah, very quickly. You know, obviously, Ripple is a company. We are not. We are a project, you know. So there are some differences as how they do their stuff. You know, we are completely decentralized. I know the Ripple people might say, well, but they have a different way of doing their stuff. You know, obviously, somebody has to accept, you know, they utilize people, you know, to basically come in and accept those transactions. So we're going to do it in a slightly different way than they're doing. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's not going to be exactly like Ripple, obviously, because they are a company and they have centralized and they have, you know, right, other ways of doing it. We're going to have it in a different way. And we'll get into that down the line.
Okay, cool. So you guys are not a company like Ripple Labs. That's clear. I get that. I'm just wondering, how can I trust a gateway? Because the gateway is it's like a gateway to a fence in your yard or at your pool in the back there. You got a wooden fence there, and well, it's a gate. So it's just a kind of philosophical or interesting question that people try to solve. Why should I trust one of these gateways, and how can I deal with that? Have you guys thought of any of these? I know that this is something still in the making, but it's an interesting topic. I mean, you have the same thing with the Ripple, the gateway. Well, how do I know I can trust that gateway? Anyone have anything to say about that?
Well, one of the gateways is Bitstamp. I don't know if obviously the Bitstamp
Sure.
gateway is in the Ripple network. So, for example, that, obviously their point of entry to a blockchain, not our blockchain, but a blockchain, which is Bitstamp will be the point of entry to Bitcoin. So, that raises a few questions, obviously, but in our view, we are trying to make it easier for people to come into our network. So, obviously, there are going to be some centralization when you're talking about the gateways, which is when you come in for blockchain. So, for example, Bitstamp would be one of the gateways that it's probably the most well-known gateway. And it comes, obviously the USD, Euro. So, I mean, as long as I would say, in my view, for Bitstamp, they have had their issues, with hacking. So, I guess that as long as it's not something major, I'd say, where we're talking about millions of dollars that are coming into that gateway, it would be interesting to see how, down the line, more gateways will come on board where people are probably going to feel more secure. Say some type of banking institution now comes online to provide this type of services. So now Bitstamp, will be falling second if they don't catch up. So say, for example, I don't know, I don't want to mention a American bank, but any type of banking system where people do have trust, maybe they will probably down the line be connected to the Bitcoin blockchain, or maybe to Bitstamp or BitPay, and maybe through those channels, it would make people feel a little bit more secure. But at the end of the day, it's just a point of entry to the blockchain.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I do see what you mean, that you're trying to, make it easier for members of the public to get, money into these blockchains and to have access. So that is a point. Okay, well, I think we're coming, close to the end. Richard or Michael, do you have any, or Joel too, if you guys have any final thoughts or comments about IOCOIN, altcoins, bitcoins in general?
Yeah, I have some final word. Maybe you can let us see the roadmap again.
Yeah, sure. Just a second. Mm-hmm.
Because we changed focus a little bit the last few weeks because we started with IOCOIN, of course, and it's good to see that in the middle it is IO Digital. So everybody can go to iodigital.io and see all our projects. And we started IO Digital to make it more professional and have all these projects around it. So IO Digital is our new main brand, and IOCOIN is another brand, of course, below that. Secondly, I want to thank all our backers, because it's been a tough time. We've been developing for almost a year right now, and some people are still there backing us and giving us ideas and helping us. So I think that's a big thank you for all those people still there and helping us out in all the things they can do. So the team is not only the people you see here, but it's all over the world. So a big thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I also want to talk about Derek, our lead developer. He's just been amazing with all this work. I mean, Derek has more than 20 years experience in cryptography, and C++, and we can go down the line with his resume. But I want to thank him for coming on board and helping us out. Pat, it's our HTML5 wallet developer. Ophi, I mean, it's just a very, very, very good team, and I'm just glad that we're here to work for a very, very long time. This is my project, you know, right now. So, and the community's project. When I say it's my project, it's because I feel that that this is my home now, you know, and this is where I'm going to be. And I thank Richard. Richard has done an amazing job with the community. Michael, which is here, he did our videos, and we're about to do some very nice videos with Michael. Michael, can you talk just a little bit quickly about, you know, our ideas? If you're there.
Yeah, you know, I've been in the crypto space for about 1.5 years, and I've worked with a few different groups like BitShares, Namecoins, etc. And you know, I've been with IOCOIN for the last 6 months, and I've noticed that they are like a very strong team, very ethical, and I'm happy to create more videos for them and explaining all these different facets of IOCOIN.
Yeah, so we're going to have some of that stuff coming out. All I just want to say, I guess, is we are here to work. This is a blockchain project. We are here to work blockchain development. IOCOIN is going to be our main currency for all the projects that we're doing. And I just can't wait to have this stuff out, and our team can't wait to have it all out for people to take a look at it and see how serious of a development, you know, team we are. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys, for coming on today. That was Transmission 39 with IOCOIN. Be sure to check out the links in the description. I'm going to update them with iocoin.io, iodigital.io. We're on World Crypto Network. Check out worldcryptonetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up this video, share this video. If you need to trade IOCOIN, you might want to try out some of the trade bots at Haas Online, HAAS online.com. And thanks for watching Transmission 39. That's all. Thanks a lot.